Alright, it's time to get started on getting that fan shroud off. So we continue on. Here we go. First thing first, I guess we could take this guy off here from this side. You remember how I did it? Just use my 8mm with a socket. So I gotta bring the socket in. I got the extension and everything, but it's not gonna do any good without the right socket. There we go. Might be even longer than we really need it, but okay. Probably fell through the cracks too. I see 10mm, and I'm starting to notice the difference between these Allen size. I think one of them might fell in through here. Oh, this is why I was saying use it for your C clamp. Just get one of these little cheaping. You can clamp your brake mechanism here. It'll clamp the brakes here. I can take it down to the bottom again now. So when you actually take it off, you can compress your caliper. You definitely want to at least get off a little bit. Just go and clamp a little bit so you can get your brake pads off. You can't just remove it off like parallel like this. You have to take a couple Allen bolts to remove it off, and the whole thing locks in the brake pads, both of them together through the other side of the threads here where it locks in. So what you can do is use this here, or you can just fit it in there. Just get yourself a nice small C clamp like this. Not too small, because you want a little bit more torque power. So a little bit, you know, let's say the size of my hand. I'm not trying to get a mini one because those things might be weak, just like those little fake keychain wrenches. That's not going to really do anything for us. And then, all right, let's go find out where the heck is that. Like when you need it, it disappears on you. So this is a 10mm. I think it might fell into other slots. You guys probably see this video and you're like thinking, I see it already, he's passing it. I know you guys are, because I watch back and like, Michael, it's first right there in your face, man. Yeah, speaking of which, the little fake keychain wrenches one that didn't do us any good right here. This guy right here, you know, compared to the real deal. Alright, so let's find it where the heck it is. Come on. You can see 10mm all day long. 10mm. This is it probably. Or it's just 10mm longer. Yep, 10mm longer. I knew it. Darn it. There you go. There's the 8mm. Well, we had a longer 8mm too somewhere, but that's fine. This will work. We don't probably need the double extension. I'll bring it in just in case we can't reach it for a good camera angle anyway. So let me go ahead and get started here and get this guy unbolted. You guys can see him. It's like, man, you just put blue Loctite on me. You're gonna take me off again? You got issues, man. Oh yeah, I know. Repetition, the mother of skills. Not purposely doing it. We're not trying to practice wax on, wax off, but it's almost getting there. Alright, so here we go. Let's see how good of extension I have here with this guy. Maybe too much extension. Gosh, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Unless I can just go in it. Let me go in it. Just get a little bit more. A little bit more up close. Alright, so here we go. You can see my license and everything here. I'm not my license, but my plate there. It's usually right on there. My little tag here, my scooter tag. And I guess the frame right there probably indicates what my insurance company uses for registration of DMV. This number right here. So don't tell on me, guys. Alright, so I can't do with extension maybe. I might need it because, see this guy right here? It's just hard to get in. And any more or any less, see, this is in the way. So I do need some extension. Let's see if I can go way extended. I mean, to the point where it's ridiculously extended. I'm going to take extension on extension on extension. Alright, so here we go. Way. Now I can always push down too, by the way. Yeah, for you to get some slacking. Not much actually. But look at that. Sort of my bionic arm. Oh, righty-tighty there. Oh, this is gonna be fun putting it back on, huh? Simple, better way maybe. Yeah, this is not gonna give me the leverage a little bit. Always one challenge that it gets you early in the morning for. See if I come this way. If I come this way, maybe I can come this way. Just that might. No way of getting this guy in here other than that. A long, long extension. I wish I had even longer. Seems like it's still trying to clear the first hump. Let me see if I can squeeze. I mean, it's just a plastic, so it shouldn't move a little bit for me, right? There we go. There we go. All right, so what I did was I went through here, through this little crossbar onto there. So what that tells me is I can actually take this out. I don't really need that much extension. And this will do the trick right here. I mean, I could, but it's fine now. Okay, so you guys can still see it. And drive that bad boy out of there. Okay, let the loosey right here. And we're going to remember this because we're going to put it in the same way. The only angle we got. Okay, we're just taking this off so we can actually see how everything is mounted. And then also when we do a test run for our scooter, we can see if there's any kind of fumes coming from the cylinder head, which we're praying not. But I think we're pretty confident since we put everything new gasket. Not a year-old gasket that's not even been retouched or sprayed on. We use the same spray that was on there because all the dirt and everything got in to that gasket that caused it to actually dry up. It's supposed to be wet, and now it's just messy. So, and let's see if our dry base gasket theory, as well as all the other gasket theory, doesn't cause any kind of an intake leak or intake manifold leak, vacuum leak, or exhaust leak. Okay, so that was it. That one's done. We're gonna also take the stator one off as well. The reason why is we want to see everything spin. You're gonna be able to get to see this guy spin and everything. See how it goes. So it's kind of nice to have everything off, sort of a half-naked bike. Well, we got the front now, which I'm very pleased. Looks really nice. Certain things make you happy in life, and these are probably one of the few things that does make me happy in life. Well, a lot of things too. I'm grateful for family. Not every day though. Not certain times. How about that? So you definitely can enjoy a little bit of your free time. But you know what? Everything is in moderate proportion. You can get sick of. We work at a donut shop, so a lot of people are like, oh, these nice glazed donuts are coming in. Those are probably super delicious. And then, you know, you see it every day and you're like, yeah. But I can relate to people. I mean, if you step away from it for about a week or so, you start craving it back. Have you ever realized when you travel to a foreign country, you know, outside the US, the first thing when you come back after, let's say about a month or at least 2 weeks at least, you crave like a cheeseburger. And most of the ones that they're always craving for is probably In-N-Out Burger. Or just something, you know, like a nice classic McDonald's cheeseburger. Even though it's processed, but you still crave it because you're like, oh. You know, because you're so used to eating all the other spices of the world. You know, they're delicious food, but after a while, you just crave something processed, good old American cheeseburger. And that's how I was when I went to Cambodia and traveled. Went to go see my lady there. We got a long distance relationship. It's kind of a little difficult. Trying to get a way to be able to sponsor her, bring her over to the country. We got a lot of, you know, paperwork to take care of. It's just the way the process is. It's better to come illegally. That's why I get into political debates and stuff like that. So, I know our family came legally, you know, went through the process. Very grateful for the U.S. Yep. All right, so we got that one down. Oh boy. So we gotta keep a tab on this guy. Which one went to the other one? We'll figure out. But the reason why is, remember, we took a measurement, so we'll know if it's too long. Actually, these are identical. Oh, actually, this one has a little bit of that extra thread, which this should have the same one. So we might actually have to change this one out to one that has a little thread too. Because the reason why it has a little smooth part, just like our shock ones, is because these ones don't have thread on this side right here, so it doesn't need the thread. The only time it's threaded is on this side right here when it comes back all the way out here in this section. So when you do buy a bolt, make sure it does have a smooth side, because you don't want your thread to eventually get grind up, and you don't want to actually damage your. You won't damage it, but you want to create a whole bunch of thread marks where there shouldn't be any thread. So there should be like a little smooth spot for the non-thread to ride on. I don't know why they do that not all the way, because the bushing is going to do the same thing. So yeah, so this one right here, you can see this plastic one doesn't have a thread, right? It just has like a aluminum kind of insulator to be able to protect it from not getting crushed. So it does have a little space here for it to be solid, so the thread doesn't get chewed up on it. I mean, you could still make it work with a whole bunch of thread in there, still lock in there and everything. It's not going to cause it, but you might as well just go with the nice, you know, way of logic. But if you didn't have it, I would definitely just shove that one in there. Should be okay. Okay, so we got this guy here. We're gonna get him removed out as well. Now, this is not gonna be a half an hour how to take off your fan shroud. I apologize for that. But I just want to show you and just kind of chit chat a little bit what I'm planning to do and so forth. So yeah, I'm planning to put on the PWK carburetor, get all the wires connected to it, get probably some new oil. We'll probably do an oil change and maybe even a gear change and see. I think our oil is really good, but I haven't seen what's really deep underneath the pits here, especially when we chipped off a little bit of that, you know, that funnel there that we supposed to drain our oil properly. So we'll see how that one goes. This one you don't need anything but your hand to really loosen it, because they're just plastic holding on plastic. So yeah, you can tell these plastic screws easily apart from the other 8 hex, because they have that little Phillips indicator there. And you can see the threads here. See, this is a 1.5 millimeter thread size, and then these were plastic screw. Look how much wider they are. So that's why they look different. So when you ever see these kind of wide ones, they're more likely driving into a piece of softer material like a plastic and not like anything else. So these are more for like machining metal screws or aluminum. So, and they're precise. They're usually in everywhere. These ones look amazing. You can see how it's not that high. I mean, so we did save off some space. I didn't have to use the extra washer. I just used that little flexible washer it came with. I make sure it didn't spin by putting my fingernail in there, because you want to tighten enough where it doesn't spin. It's supposed to sort of like a hug into it. Okay, let's go and get this guy off. Then we got 2 more to go, and that's it. The fan shroud should be coming off. Well, the stator one's off now. These are just the plastic ones. They were hard to find too, by the way. I didn't even have any extra plastic screws left, so I was hoping to find it. See the blue Loctite's hanging out there. Blue Loctite is not gonna, you know, hold it from your tool torque, but it will hold it from normal natural vibration. Normal vibration is not gonna put force on it like your tool. We didn't put blue Loctite on the plastic one. That's why it came off with ease. There's no reason to. Vibration will expand and so forth, just like metal, but it's still not. It's gonna conceal itself a little bit anyway. So there's no need to. Let's get this one right here at the end. Then we'll work our way to the bottom. Using a little grip here. Still the same though. Yeah, we did a pretty good job in cleaning the stator flywheel. A little dirt area here. I don't know why. It's like it just comes back, you know. It's like a haunted house. It just comes back and get dirty again. You didn't even do nothing to it. It's very spooky. But I'm sure there's certain things you can always propel There we go. This was a little bit harder to twist. Managed to do it with just a little bit of finger muscle here on the top. No tools other than the socket and extension. All right, there it goes. It's just spinning freely. All right, so now we can lift off. Maybe the other side should be, I think, oh, that was probably latched by a little hook. Okay. Okay, the bottom one should come off. Unless it's still hooked onto the other one, so let's go ahead and see here. Cool. Come on. Huh. It's not like we have the exhaust stud on there bolting it on, huh? I guess it's from pressure from the other side. So let's go and get back into the other side and see if we can relieve some pressure from the very top or the bottom. Yeah, this one's off. There we go. So we got the fan shroud off. We'll come out this way. So we know if we can get off easily. Well, getting all the screws loose here. And we can actually put it back on easily. All right, well, maybe this might be a different situation. I'm not sure what else is holding this guy on. He's already unlatched here. I don't see any other. Maybe a little bit tug. I think he was, okay, there's a little hump there. So a little hump there. We gotta get him off the hump. There we go. Let me go and plow him off a little bit. See, if I put him off the hump here, he gets caught on the frame. So it's all, but it's okay. It's plastic. It's not gonna, we're gonna manure it. So note to self how to put him back on. Just gotta get him over this little rail here. Once we bring him down, he should be dragged. This is where the clip goes. So we can try to see if we can drag him parallel. So let's go and open him up this way. Free him up here. Push him down. There he goes. He's loose. All right. All right, so we didn't have to put this on in the beginning, so we just created a little bit of detour here. That's okay. At least we can know we can take it off. So where we need to take it off, we won't get the notion like, I'm not sure if I can take off the stay there. Yeah, you can. I just saw you. Okay, so here we go. Put this tool here. All right. So we got our fan shrouds, all the screws that came with the fan shroud. That's out of our way. Now it's time to actually install our PWK carb, hook up our connections and our spark plug into the slot. We're actually not going to put our spark plug in because I do want the combustion to escape out when we're rotating the flywheel just for testing. And I realize now with the ventilation, actually, when the valve actually protrudes in, it opens the gap to the chamber. And then when it comes back, it sucks the air from the chamber back into the valves. That's why we hear a little hissing noise from their crankcase ventilation, which is connected. That's why we hear a hissing noise, because those valves are, when they're protruding into the piston, air is introduced from the chamber of the piston. You know, even though it's escaping most of it out back to the spark plug hole because it's not plugged in anymore, it's still being able to suck air in. Those and then when we cover this up, of course, the noise dissipate, but then it has to force itself back out to the spark plug hole. So those are pretty much the three areas that can come out: from the intake side of the valves, and from the exhaust side of the valves, and from the spark plug. Those are pretty much the three open areas, and the crankcase ventilation, of course. So that's it, maybe four, so total four. Let's go ahead and see, these connections are easy. They're already inside this boot here, ready to go. That's not a problem at all. Including our stator, which is hanging all the way out here next to the back of the wheel. We'll bring this guy back up to wrap around. We'll put the banding. The wire looks a little beat up by now, but wasn't abused too bad. It's just kind of shoved everywhere, moved everywhere. These wires are black, that's how they put stain. Benzene was yellow. These guys probably take a little bit more of abuse than the benzene one. But oh, that's what I'm talking about. Everything is just practically cheap. Look at that one. That's okay. We'll substitute for a tie strap. How about that? This one's a goner. I'm not going to be able to. I mean, I really wanted to really keep this original on there, I could weld it or something like that, right? But it's not worth it. So what we're gonna do is just shave this all off, and we're gonna go ahead. I guess all the flexing back and forth you expected. It's only a one-time pass with these Chinese scooters, so that's why we place everything. Here's our cutter here. See if we can trim some off so it won't cut into our wires if we ever need to. Let's see here. We don't want this to probe our wires. That's the thing. We're not afraid that we're going to get our finger caught in there eventually, but we just don't want it to damage our wire. So let me get a very strong flathead, perhaps. If I can wedge it a little bit more out of there. It's pretty strong in there. Probably have to grind it off or sand it off. Probably get it smooth. Yeah, I just don't want the wires protruding in there. We'll just tie strap it very carefully. We'll tie strap it right here, of course. I mean, like close to this side more than this side. So it should be fine. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's not let that detour us. And that was just a little pressure too. All right, so we're gonna test our intake manifold, and then we're gonna see our height too, by the way, because we have to put our seat as well. So we'll probably bring our seat out. We're gonna do it, well, we have to do a dry fit because we're planning to not actually put the gasket on there. We're gonna actually just, I mean, we're not gonna put the gasket spray on there. One less scrubbing. I'm really happy for that. We put our original cam chain tensioner on there now. It's already blue Loctite, everything ready in there, including the Phillips as well. So that one's done. We can connect our wires now, I guess. Hopefully that doesn't break on us. Everything else is falling. All right, here we go. Alright, so it only goes a certain way. You can see these won't match. It's almost dummy proof here. So the red with red, there's a red wire here, and then I'm following this little base here. This is our battery terminal, and to our probably solenoid or stator. It's going to our starter motor, sorry. Here we go. See that? Red and red. Just kind of pair them up. Black is on the front of me, the red's behind us both. So these will be joined together. These will be joined together now. You can see that, male and female. There's that electric grease in there, right, I believe. Yep, I see a little spat of that electric grease. There's no clip on these things, a little internal clip right here, but not enough really. You can still pull it out without even having to put a Phillips flathead on here. Let me go rest my back here. I'm arching it. Okay, so this one here, we're gonna, if we don't want to tangle, we can keep it all in line. So we can move this guy right here over this one, make it a little neater. This one right here, you can see is the 3-prong. It's going 3-prong. This one's going to our, pretty much our rectifier from our stator. So we're gonna connect that here. You can't really go any other way. This is it. Okay, once we get that in there, it's clipped. Okay, now we have 2 more wires. We have a ground wire, and we have our pickup coil wire, which they reverse on this. I think with APM's wiring, his was blue and white stator, and it came blue and white on the other end as well. Or it did probably came to black and white, but it was actually his ignition coil was black and white. Reversed on me. Even though his is the same scooter as Zenon, just a newer model. Here we go. We're gonna put that in there. There we go. And now we have our ground wire here. Our ground wire is going to go in the ground wire. See, these are male and female reverse, so you can't really interchange them. And the color codes kind of help a little bit, but I wouldn't depend on that too much. You know how that goes. All right, so let me flex this back to accordingly. So this one looks really nice. And again, we're going to do just enough here for it to get out of the way. We don't want to have it. And you can see here, it's still leaning against the engine a little bit. The negative of the starter motor. So what we'll do is when we tie strap it, we could probably pick it up a little bit, or let's see what we can do. We could probably twist this. This looks like, if it twists it, it looks like it brings it up. All right, so we'll do the best we can. We'll try have it not touch. Okay, it's not touching now, but Probably will. So we'll probably do is raise this guy. We'll raise this guy up, whole wires of it. We'll raise. I'm not sure how we'll raise it up. We'll either have to mount it a little bit more, like right there or something like that, and that will causes this to maybe raise a little bit more too. But you definitely don't want to raise it too much from this frame, because you need to give it the slack, because again the bottom of the scooter will teeter-tot. It will teeter-tot from here on, so it might be stabilized. We'll see. It's not a big deal. I mean, these wire gauges are made to be heat intolerant, but the less you put on heat exposed to it, the longer it probably lasts. You know what I mean? So we'll just keep it maintained as possible. You can see it's off from the starter motor, the black wire, which that's where ideally we want to create a little bit of space and gap. And the reason why we're going to put a spacer in between our intake manifold and our Naruko is that plastic spacer, is we're hoping that the heat doesn't transfer the heat from this, you know, the ceramic coating of the cylinder, aluminum, cast aluminum. We don't want it to transfer into our aluminum Naruko one. So let's go ahead and get this guy ready. And we're probably going to leave our battery here. We're probably going to put our seat on as well. So it's going to be a few things we're going to try to get in the works. Get this guy out here. Okay. Get in a comfortable spot there. Kind of shove this whole bunch of wires. Yeah, it's okay. It's an organized mess, as APM says. Alright, here we go. So what we're going to do is going to mount. Probably come the other way and show you guys better. See if I can come back around. We're going to mount our intake manifold. Probably come back to this side as well, but try to bring a charger with us. Oh, very, very tiny. Getting caught in our brakes. Okay. Here we go. We're going to try to mount it here while I'm setting everything up. There's our fuel lines. We're going to drag our fuel lines. I had it hooked up here. This is great. This is a rubber one. We'll need a new, probably new tie strap for sure. And then we'll retighten that onto the PWK before we slide it in there. I think we're going to tie it in first, like right here, because it's going to go over like this anyway, onto our PWK. So we'll get that one as well tied up. We'll only need a tie strap. And we're going to need our mounts. I think all our screws and mounts are right here ready. So they're ready to go inside the data box. I put them in there. Our intake manifold, I believe, is in there too. Our gasket. All right, and this is our old NCY one. Look at what it did to the number right here. Just like that. Made it look so unused. And we're going to go ahead and put our new gasket one here. Almost, actually, no, I can't say. Almost, the NCY is twice as thick. Or I should even say about 60% thick compared to the Tata one. But we're going to put that one instead in there and see what's the difference. Try out new things, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get our intake manifold studs. I believe they're in here already. If they're not, you can get it. Nope, they're not in there. They're probably in my little tool grab. I'll grab that out there. Here, I'll go get a tie strap ready. Unfortunately, we don't have any more smaller tie straps. I think we do. No, we don't. Those are just wires. Okay, we're going to get our socket ready. I believe it's going to take a 10mm. I'll get the extension, 10mm. And then we also need a 12mm. So let me just bring that entire toolbox over. Alright, give me 1 second, almost there. Try and get everything all ready to go, and yeah, I keep forgetting here and there. Okay, so we got our toolbox, we got our intake manifold, we're about to mount it. Alright, since my engine is clean, I have no need for the glove here. This is mainly vacuum, not oil much. Even with oil sometimes I still can't make sure I remove that, of course, because one time I left a little bit in there and I put the intake manifold. I totally forgot about it. I was like a surgeon forgetting his tools in your chest if he's operating on you in the chest. So I remember again, it did not fit universally as we thought it was the cam chain tensioner and the intake gasket. Those are two separate ones, so make sure you align the intake manifold gasket, the one that actually came with the Tata one. So this one would be it. And there's also like a smooth side and a flat side, I believe. Not a smooth side, a flat side, but the curvature side. Yeah, there's a smooth side. You can see here, this one. It's, let's see if I can get the resolution right. This one's more smoother and this one's more grainier. And it's also, you can see too, it's more like flat cut. So this is more smoother side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay, I think it doesn't really matter, but for your own preference, I am gonna go ahead and decide to lay the flat side flush against the Tata cylinder. And then I'm gonna lay the smooth side onto my plastic one. Okay, so we got that there. Now the next thing you know, I'm gonna put the plastic one. Just always want to keep a little shop rag with you, wipe down any debris or anything. This has lint. I just don't want to use regular paper towels. You might want to get one of those little shop rags that they made specifically so lint doesn't fly in. Blow everything around. Just want to make sure you wipe anything you don't want to gunk of some splat of oil or anything that ruins your whole project because you know you didn't realize it's old. Okay, so we're gonna put that right on top so you can see the level now. So we're gonna put that one and we're gonna put that one and then we're gonna go and lay our intake manifold on here like that. Now the thing about it is we want to actually dry test it first because see this thing has always been a challenge for us. We're gonna try to get the PWK carburetor. I'm gonna take them right now from the very top and I'm gonna go and get these out of the way. And what I'm gonna do is shove them back because I have very little area to work with you guys to see. Then just in case some little particle decides to be a jerk and falls right in, we can try to salvage it. And then I got also hook up the oil lines to it. So they're gonna bring him around. There you go. He's been kept in a nice plastic bag this whole time. Other than shove the lighter up him. Guess we have to free him up with some cable. Now it's gonna go this way because the angle here is gonna pull toward the throttle. So you don't want to go get opposite of the throttle. This is why it's angled. It's good for leveling. Okay, and then also your air filter is bigger than your intake manifold connection, and you want to make sure this faces this way so you can put your K&N air filter, which I think we need to bring that shortly too. But meantime, let's go and shove this guy in here first. We're going to shove him into the Naruku one, and then we're going to actually lay him in here and see how much of a good fit he is or won't be. And then we're going to see if he can raise us up. It looks like there's actually a lot more space here. I'm not sure if this one's smaller than the NCY CVK carburetor, but definitely a little bit more narrower. You can tell right off the bat. It's not a lot, there's no more spining, winding, carburetor, CVK, throttle connections here. It's just mainly this one little thing that you manually control.